drawing them throughout the stream anyway, so that should be awesome. All right, guys, we are here, and up here in the top left-hand side, taking a convincing Game 1 victory on his map pick and on the smallest rush map in the pool. It is Mouse Esports Heromarine. Down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the red, it is Namshar. I believe he's still playing for Dead Pixels. Can you guys let me know? Is Namshar still on Dead Pixels? Let me know. Let me know. So this one's going to be Ascension to Aya, and you guys can let me know. I never catch Heromarines stream because it's literally always at like 3 in the morning my time and finishes maybe about the time I wake up. But if you guys have actually been seeing a lot more of Heromarines play recently, has he adapted to the mech trend that's going on right now? A lot of people are getting really into mech. Is Heromarine part of that crowd, or is he just kind of like not bio for life? That's what I'm going to do. You guys in chat can let me know. I know there's a lot of Heromarine fans in here. A lot of people who came over from watching his stream. This would be a map where a lot of players do play mech because it is so far to push across the middle of the map with bio. And a lot of mech players do like kind of pushing from this high ground area. So say the Zerg ends up on this base and this base. Once they're on 5 bases, the Terran kind of pushes with this tank spread, Thors, Vikings all down from the middle. And using the watchtowers as well to great advantage. A few people in chat are saying, look, I haven't seen him use mech, or I very rarely see him use mech. Awesome. So this means Heromarine is going to be playing bio, and Heromarine is one of the most impressive foreign Terrans at bio. We don't hype Heromarine up all that much, and it's probably because he's one of the most stock standard players you'll ever see when it comes to like just playing standard macro. Like, it's not like someone like Kelazur, who's, you know, known for his crazy proxies and 3-Rax Reapers, and then has recently become more of a macro player. Heromarines always just been a macro god, and he's such a standard player, which is, I think, quite rare for Terrans, especially in the foreign scene, where usually it's been their like crazy aggressive flair that makes them stand out. But Heromarines just stock standard, great fundamentals, great mechanics, good solid strategic understanding, knows how to adapt to everything. Namshar on the other side as well, also a very calm defensive player, someone who really does prefer to sit back and respond. And that's part of why I liked the thought of this matchup. I figured, you know what, we're going to have 2 guys who are just going to go at each other in a slugfest. If there's one criticism for both players, it's that neither of them all-ins enough, for sure. You know, they let their opponents get way too comfortable knowing what's coming, and they just rely on their own kind of supreme macro abilities to carry them through. So we're going to have to see exactly how this goes, and looks like it is just going to be another very similar opening to last game. There is, of course, this Widowmine out, nice and early though, so you know, it's going to go into the same sort of pattern, but it's going to start off with a Widowmine drop. Now, this is one of the more flexible openings. I do like this for big maps. It's not as strong here as, say, on Acolyte, simply because there's less avenues for the medevac to get into the base. One of the big weaknesses of Terran against Zerg, and really any race against Zerg, Protoss vs Zerg as well, on this map as well as Odyssey, is there's not a lot of dead space. Once you go in towards a mineral line, there's no edge to run back to. We're up against the edge of the map. So you can always get kind of hit from those edges, and you can't really catch your opponent off guard too much. Oh, the Overlord gets away. Heromarine would have loved to kill that. So yeah, this just makes things a little bit annoying to deal with. As a Terran player, it's harder to get Ravens in, drop auto turrets. It's harder to get Oracles in as a Protoss. Here though, we are going to see the Hellions coming across. The Zergling though on the Watchtower sees everything. This is normally how you do this. The mines, the Marines be annoying. They hop between bases, and then the 4 Hellions look for the opportunity to run into a mineral line and roast a whole bunch of workers. Is he going to do it? Looks like he is. He's even got that Widowmine to fall back to. So if he can actually lure the Zerglings onto that Widowmine, that would be very cool. Of course, these are just unupgraded Marines. They're not really the most effective unit. And as I talked about, this Raven, it's only really got one avenue here. It can't rotate around because the edge of the map is right here. The lack of dead space really hurting Terran's harassability. So Heromarines trying to distract on the front. He's trying to pull those queens out of position, and this is going to allow that Raven to come on in and drop an auto turret. And looks like, okay, good move. So once he gets between the natural and third, he at least has 2 different angles to come from. He can go north or he can go south. The problem though here is that I believe you can get shot from both sides by those queens. And great surround by Namshar. Oh man, he gets every single Hellion. Oh, the medevac only gets out of there with 6 hit points. And those Zerglings not quite walking into that Widow Mine. So Heromarines pressure is going to not get too much done. That being said, hasn't missed a beat with his macro behind it. Auto turret did come down there. Bringing him up to 6 worker kills. He's got double upgrades. He's got the 3rd orbital finished. He's got 3 barracks. Once again, we are seeing... Oh, did the Raven die? Oh no, the Raven got out of there as well. Wow, 8 kill Raven and goes home. Very nice. Ooh, that's not bad. 6 Zergling kills there. Yeah, this is annoying. This is annoying. So, yeah, Heromarine, you know, hasn't missed a beat with his macro. He's got his double medevac pressure. It's going to be coming on time. Namshar sees everything. And we're going to have to see how everything goes on. Namshar does not represent dead pixels anymore. Okay, thanks for the clarification, Neon Blue. Appreciate that. Smallbook says, how about a Haas versus SOS, cheese versus cheese? Pursuit says maybe the skill difference is too high. I would still love to watch that one day. But I feel like this one should be nice and entertaining. So we'll see exactly how that goes. All right, guys. If you can get a cancel on this 4th base, that's going to be awesome. Right now, there's only a few Zerglings out. You do not want to fight that. You've got to give this up, Namshar. Namshar cannot defend this base. Has to cancel his 4th and lose it. He's got a good amount of queens, but no banelings, only Zerglings. He's going to have to fall back to the spine crawler. Loses a couple drones there as well. Heromarine just engaging into the spine. Just going balls deep here on Namshar. Namshar's not liking it, man. He's like, dude, give me some space, mate. Give me some space. Heromarine just keeps on running forward. Does some good damage. If there's one thing we can criticize Heromarine for... Oh, his Raven is down here. Get some units down here. Clear up these fucking tumors, man. They're getting really far out. Of course, Heromarines very busy macroing right now while keeping up this pressure. He's going to need to pick those units up. And he's just going to back off. Namshar taking that 4th base. Once again, Namshar going for an insanely fast hive here with this style. And I mean, I get the feeling here that Heromarine is just way ahead now, guys. You know, he did a good amount of damage before. If we look at the units lost tab, that's actually pretty nice. 10 workers killed in total now. And the thing is, it's the fact that he has the flawless macro behind it without ever throwing units away. This is one of the hardest things as a Terran player, is actually having good macro while not watching your units at the right time and suddenly losing them. But Heromarine here is a master of it. And using the Raven here, so he doesn't even have to use scans. And oh my fucking lord, Jesus Christ, that was pretty nice. And even losing a few Marines there at the end, that's worth it to pick up a bunch of those Banelings. Banelings are very expensive. And of course, didn't use any scans there. He's up in supply. He's already got a 4th CC. He's actually going 4th CC before the extra barracks. So Heromarine really saying, you know, I'm not going to do the standard Terran thing where I just try to kill you on 3 bases. I'm going to go up to 8 barracks. I've got 2-2 on the way. Yeah, he's got, what, 3 siege tanks out. He's going to have 4 in a moment. So it's going to be a 4 siege tank, 2-2 push. Same time, these Marines finding some exposed Hydras. Once again, you can trade Marines for Banelings and Hydras all day, as long as you're not taking a really bad engagement. But Medevac's just idling up there. Luckily, no creep tumors there to actually spot that he was just chilling out. But he's retaken the watchtowers. He's got good map vision. Namshar, though, respreading this creep very actively as soon as it gets cleared up. And chilling out here at 73 workers. He's transferred workers from his main. He's got a Viper on the way. We'll need to get another Viper. And this time he's actually going for faster ranged upgrades. So he wants to beef up his Hydras. Now, what I always found interesting is most people just only go melee carapace with these Hydra styles. But Stefano, a guy who always plays his own styles, always done what I actually prefer to do when I play Hydra styles, which is he would always ignore melee upgrades and actually just go 2-2 range carapace. Go for a ton of Hydras and get out a few Infestors. This is something which we've seen Namshar ignoring, is Hydra upgrades, and also, man, that creep tumor shot splashed the Marines. And Infestors. He's basically just been saying, look, I need Vipers. I can't go Infestors because you have a Raven for detection, you have scans, you have siege tanks, you're not clumping up your units, you're too good to let me land the Fungals. But I do kind of feel like maybe if the Hydras could engage and move a bit far forward, he could at least force these siege ups a bit earlier, slow down these pushes, buy himself a little bit more time. And this time he is investing in those Hydra upgrades. These Zerglings get a nice delay on this 4th base. That planetary only now going to have to restart. We've got a fusion core on the way, as well as a 3rd starport. So yeah, he's going to be 3 starport here. Seems to be Heromarine standard. And Heromarines cleared up the creep. But this time around, he hasn't managed to snipe Namshar's 4th. Namshar's got a pretty powerful army right now. Viper's in the front here. Drops a Blinding Cloud on top of the Marines. Zerglings from behind. And he's forced to just evacuate. He just has to pick up the Marines. Ooh, does save one siege tank at the last minute. That medevac turned around for that. Great engage from Namshar. Nabs all the siege tanks. But I get the feeling Heromarine doesn't really care about his tanks at this point in the game. As it gets to this stage onwards, obviously he'd like to still keep every unit alive, but it seems like he's not too stressed over that. He's going to try and boost back. He's got to protect his production here. Namshar is going to go deep on this mineral line. The units are only just unloading now. Oh, the Baneling's going to find some big connections there in that worker line. Namshar does take out about 10-15 workers there. Gets Heromarine down to just 60 workers. Is also picking away at the barracks, interrupting Heromarine's production. It's a big change up from last game where, of course, it was Heromarine dictating the pace, and we can see just the effect of that bigger map here where, oh, Namshar focusing on the medevacs, but Namshar's staying too long. He doesn't have any Banelings left. He's got one Baneling in the back, and that's a ton of Marine Marauder. And 3-3 is not done yet, but these Hydras are in the open, and he's going to lose quite a few of those in the retreat. He's got some more Zerglings coming. Heromarine's got to be careful to not chase him too far. Suddenly a bunch of Banelings group up with that. It is going to be Heromarine who has to run. We've got +2 melee, +3 carapace, and kindness plating on the way. 2 Vipers are still out. We've got Creeper respreading all over the map. And with Burrow on the way now as well. Namshar looking for a little bit more utility. That just shows Namshar's comfort at this point. He says, hey, it's time to start getting Burrow. Let's think about denying expansions, you know, being more annoying with our harassment units, all of that sort of stuff. And Heromarine here, forced to go into a much, much longer game. 5th command center going down. And the later it goes, this is where things like Infestors are about to pop out. 3 Infestors, a 3rd Viper on the way. Still no Ultras out, but I don't think he really needs it just yet, since it is almost pure bio that he's facing. There's no real siege tanks here. This time around, the Hydra's having that attack upgrade. He's going to help them out quite a bit. Ghost Academy on the way as well here for Heromarine. Heromarine doesn't want to give up this center of the map. If he loses the center, he does lose a lot of the area here. He's going to just engage right on through. Namshar just shoving through this army. Liberators take out a few Hydras on the way, but not really enough. The bio is so busy trying to spread. There's just so many Banelings. What the hell? Namshar has got the numbers, man. The bio comes forward, but even more Banelings coming into this. And I think Heromarine's just a little bit too short on units. Maybe not. No, he holds. Okay. Heromarine's so good. I'm like casting it as if it's one of my own battles. I'm like, oh, Terran's dead. And it's like, no. This is Heromarine. He's actually really good at StarCraft, Jared. It's fine. he's actually not missing a beat with his macro. If you look at his production, you can see there's non-stop Marine Marauder production. Of course, he did lose some barracks, so his Marauder production's a little bit lighter than he would want it once Ultras come out. He's only got the 1, 2, 3... No, he does have a 4th tech lab in the main, actually. Okay, so he added another tech lab in the main after losing his 3rd barracks at the front, so that was okay. 5 Liberators are on the way at a time, and this is not really the time where you want Ultras as Namshar, but I gotta say, at this point, he's gotta wish he had Corruptors. Speaking of that, I think he's realized, god damn man, I need something to kill these Liberators and medevacs a little bit more efficiently. My Hydras aren't really cutting it at this stage. I just need enough Ling Bane Ultra Corruptor to roll over the top. And funnily enough, you know, he's got the kindness plating, he's got the Ultra Tech, but he's decided not to go Ultras at all this game. And, I mean, I kind of like the idea, but I don't know if it's going to work out. These Lings are going to try and run by, but there's a Siege Tank and a Planetary that will be able to pick off a lot of these units. This base has a Planetary as well. We've got Orbitals all over the place. Ranged Lib Harassment, very nice. Comes up there. Picks off a Queen and a few workers. Hydras are going to respond to that. And just a ton of libs out. What do we got? Right now, 9 Liberators. A lot more on the way. Sorry. 11 Liberators, going up to 13 in a moment. He's got +3 ship weapons on the way. Still no armor upgrades for the air units. 3-3 on the ground. Does he have... No, he doesn't have building armor yet. When he gets building armor, that's gonna also beef him up quite a bit for the long term. But for now, Heromarine wants to keep pushing. These Infestors representing a very real threat right now. He spotted some of them with the scan, but he's very clumped right now. There's an Infestor behind his army. Ooh, lands one big juicy fungal on top of that bio. Another fungal lands. A lot of Banelings and Lings and Hydras are engaging the Liberators. Oh my god, the Liberators. Oh man. This Infestor here, yeah. I feel like even though he had a nice fungal, Namshar got a little bit too excited there, engaged in the wrong position, and I mean, the Hydras can't really fight the ranged Liberators at this point. You really need Corruptors, especially once +3 finishes. That's when the Liberators will be, I believe they start one-shotting? I think they start one-shotting Hydras at +3. Someone in chat can verify. So I think it goes up to 90 damage. Oh, actually, no, because they got armor. Okay, yeah, right. It actually doesn't matter. It used to be like +1 would one-shot them, always, I think, even if they had armor upgrades, but ever since the hit point nerf, you can never one-shot Hydras with libs anymore. So, Hydra's coming forward now, and the Viper's going to abduct a few of these, but there's just not enough Zerg, man. A couple fungals land, but Heromarines just, you know, solid macro. What can Namshar do better here, guys? It's kind of crazy. How do you counter this army? Normally, I just think of a ton of Corruptors being in the mix as the answer to this. But now that there's Ghosts adding in, Ghosts are like the sickest anti-Corruptor unit. Was skipping Ultras for so long a bad decision? It might have been. You can imagine if Namshar had have gotten Ultras out, maybe rather than focusing on frontal engagements, he could have split off Ultralisks to attack the planetaries. 2 or 3 Ultras can shred a planetary fortress pretty quickly. If he starts hitting Heromarines' economy, doing something like that, doing something to slow down Heromarine at home. Right now, all we're seeing is Namshar saying, I will just defend. I will never attack. I will only try to defend. And when I feel ready, I will engage your army in the middle. And that's the only type of fight I'm going to do. And this simplifies Heromarine's game plan so much. Like, all Heromarine needs to think about here is I'm just gonna jump on top of, I'm just gonna keep macroing. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna macro. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna macro. I'm gonna push. There's very little positional defense that he has to focus on, and yeah, he's doing it incredibly well. Namshar here, showing some really good defensive play, but maybe just not quite used to such a macro-centric Terran. And Heromarine takes the 2-0 lead. 2-0 lead. And what is the third map? Third map's going to be Abyssal, guys. Awesome. So, a lot of people are like, hey, we really want to get a code. We want to get a virtual ticket. All right.